Last time on Square Roots, Judy goes home, Estelle goes missing, and everyone goes bananas for an old man's cool wall. Later, it turns out Raven was a ghost you don't know is a ghost. Or more like a Frankenstein, or an Iron Man. Well, it doesn't really matter because he gets pancaked flat. Order up, short stack of Raven with syrup on the side. The syrup is his blood.
Hey everyone, and welcome to Square Roots, the classic RPG podcast. My name is Jim Banks. I am joined by Matthew Van Zant.
Hey, it's me, Matthew Van Zant.
John Adafagos Brandon.
Is that where you like choke yourself while you masturbate?
And Vanessa.
I'm Vanessa.
And this is a podcast where we play and talk about your favorite classic RPGs one chunker at a time. And we're playing Tales of Vesperia. We've been playing this game for a while,
This
my
is
friends.
episode 7 of this season. What? Too many episodes in a season.
It's a long one. Although, like, Kingdom Hearts 2 was a long one, too.
Who chose this piece of shit?
You did.
Nah, the listeners did. It's funny how many posts I've seen in Facebook and on Discord from people that are like, well, I was playing along, but this game sucks.
Oh, really?
Yeah, a lot.
I saw them too.
This game, like, it could be like 30% shorter.
I hope that people will still listen along, even if they don't play along.
I mean, if it's at least your second attempt at the game and you can't finish it, probably it's time to just accept that if you want to know what happens, this is your best bet.
Uh-huh. Square Roots, your best bet if you want to know what happens. That's our tagline.
Yeah, you could go read a walkthrough, but why do that when you can listen to, oh wait, we can't use that phrase. Guys, the phrase that Jim came up with that we thought was so great as a description for our show turned out to be taken by many other shows and properties.
Yeah.
Jim didn't come up with that so much as steal it from someone else.
I didn't steal it. It's like that. It's like, there were two people who wrote books about young wizards named Harry Potter at the same time, and
That's
one
true.
got super famous and one didn't.
Yeah, Larry Potter.
I think they weren't both Harry. Were they both Harry Potter?
Was it? I thought one was Larry, but I could be wrong.
I don't recall.
Maybe what you're talking about.
Yeah.
We don't talk about Harry Potter on this podcast, Jim.
Nope. Remember that, what was it? Can't Hardly Wait or something like that? Some teen movie where Seth Rogen wore, like, goggles on his head
Seth
the whole
Green.
time. All right, Seth Green.
Yeah, and he had the goggles. I thought that was so cool, like back in the 90s.
It was rad. It was the flyest look I've ever seen.
You're thinking of Zack and Miri make a porno.
I am not. I am thinking of...
It's Can't Hardly Wait.
Is it Can't Hardly Wait? Perfect.
It is Can't Hardly Wait.
I did it.
That's the one thing I always remember about that movie is Seth Green's goggles.
That's all I remember about that movie.
90s kids really did invent absurd accoutrements, right?
That
Do you
was
remember
like
those like
baby
sunglasses?
rave and
Do you remember those sunglasses that would they fit over the top of your head? They were like, what's that? They were Oakleys, and they, instead of going like around the sides of your face over your ears, they went back this way. Rested on top of your head.
I would totally wear those.
They looked terrible.
Remember those big dumb Cat in the Hat hats?
Are you talking about
Yeah,
wraparounds?
No.
No.
It's like wrap around your skull. Like
Yeah,
from the
wrap
top.
around your cranium, your dome.
I've never seen those before, Jim, but they sound amazing.
That sounds made up.
No, they're real.
I did love a Cat in the Hat hat.
Like Jamiroquai.
Well, guys, does anyone have any hot gaming news?
Not one bit.
I really don't either.
It's
been a busy week.
Yeah, I don't either. I have some exciting movie news, potentially. You guys want to hear some hot movie news?
Hell
Okay.
yeah.
Sure.
So like 10
Nicolas
10 years
Cage
ago,
and Nicholas Hoult.
Guillermo del Toro said he was going to make an At the Mountains of Madness movie.
I can't believe
But-
you bought this shit.
It got shut down. But he announced on a podcast earlier this week that he's going to rewrite the screenplay and maybe do it with Netflix. And
Was
that
it
sounds
our
super cool.
podcast?
No, it was a podcast that I'm super jealous of called the King Cast, where they talk about Stephen King related stuff with very famous guests. He was on the most recent episode.
There's a lot of bad podcasts out there. Thankfully, ours isn't one of them.
I
I don't believe
have.
that's actually going to happen, Jim.
It might. Hope is alive.
I do have
That and
some
Hellboy 3.
hot gaming news.
Wow.
yeah. John
Uh,
pulled through for us.
Final Fantasy XIV will let characters wear whatever clothing they want now. So, like, if you want to wear a dress, it doesn't matter. If you got, like, a mask character or a femme character, you can wear whatever shit you want. It's no longer gender binary. It's the future. Everything
Cool.
is whatever you'd like it to be. So you can wear your pretty maid outfit.
That's great. You know, we spent a lot of years eating off a prefix menu, and now we're at the buffet.
Gender buffet.
The Gender Buffet. This is our new podcast, Gender Buffet, where we talk about gender roles in society.
And how they taste.
Oh.
It's not our worst idea for a spin-off show,
Mm-mm.
but it's not our best idea either. And once again, we're totally unqualified to discuss it.
Are you excited about the stack of games coming to Game Pass this December? Are you
Like
ready?
what?
Like Anvil.
that one?
Anvil.
I saw that Lawn Mowing Simulator was now on Game Pass, which
Archvale.
has me intrigued.
Final Fantasy 13 2. Lawn Mowing Simulator.
Yeah.
Rubber Bandits, Stardew Valley, Warhammer 40,000, Battle Sector, Space Warlord, Organ Trading Simulator, Halo.
Wait. You can't trade Oregon. It's a state.
No. You're misunderstanding me. Organ trading, not Oregon trading. Organ.
Oh.
Like your inner bits.
I see.
One Piece Pirate Warriors 4, Aliens Fireteam Elite, Among Us, and The Gunk.
So, of those games, I would recommend Stardew Valley, but if you want to play Stardew Valley, you definitely have already. It's been on every single platform.
Well, Final Fantasy 13 too. It's got that Moogle sword. So
Can't wait to play that for the show.
me too. I don't know if we ever will, because I feel like we're gonna get some resistance to it. But maybe Johnny and Vanessa's spin-off podcast, Johnny and Vanessa play the games they like.
Yeah.
We'll have it.
It's a Johnny and Vanessa breakout episode. Oops, all bad games. I mean, Sierra
What?
games. Sierra
What?
games are good.
Not only did I fall for it the first time and buy Final Fantasy 13, ladies and gentlemen, I did fall for it the second time and buy Final Fantasy 13 too. And I have news for you. Despite all the reviews telling me it was like way better than Final Fantasy 13, it was crap.
What about Final
We're gonna have
Fantasy
to play
13
those games
3?
eventually.
Lightning Returns.
Final Fantasy 13 2 is like a Pokemon-like too, which is...
Matt loves a Pokemon. Matt walked away.
Yeah.
I guess he's had enough of the hot gaming news. Well, Matt's gone, so
Yeah, that's enough hot gaming news. Why don't we move into our classic fan favorite segment? What did you guys do today?
Can I level up
I
first?
got up and
Oh.
had some peanut butter, and I know I'm kidding. Johnny, how did you level up?
First of all, I leveled down because I had to read through a gaming news website, and then I saw that something about Dr. Disrespect, and I'm like, is that really something people care about? That guy just seems like a piece of garbage. Why do they watch him? Well, I have been exercising incredible control through this whole Black Friday sale thing. I barely spent money at all. Also, like, it's very frustrating that the Switch sale is so much better in the U.S. than it is in Canada. Like,
Oh,
that
is it?
sucks. Yeah,
That's
it's
gaming news.
like, well, I guess it's like $25 for certain.
Okay, yeah, you're right. Let's roll it back to Black Friday and Cyber Monday, the holidays that have already passed a week ago, and talk about the sales that people could have got in on.
Well, it's just like I think games were $25 in the U.S. and they're $54 on sale in Canada. I'm like, well, that sucks. Come on.
Yeah, but
$25.
$54 Canadian is like 10 American dollars.
It's like 40 American dollars. That's still way more. I've been leveling up by, and here's a non-gaming piece of information, looking at apartments. Except it's very hard to look at apartments because the process isn't very good. Like first I tried Facebook Marketplace because it has lots of places, but you can't sort by important things like, is this a scam? Or do you allow pets? That's not something you can search for.
Oh, weird.
Wow.
And
All right, well, I was hoping that we could save it until later in the show, but I guess it's out. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. Johnny's moving out of the Square Roots house.
Oh.
Yeah. It was a tough decision, and I don't think that Johnny's come to
ask him to
terms with
leave.
it yet. Yeah, but we voted, and it was 3-1. Interestingly, Johnny did
Yeah,
not
Jim-
vote for himself to stay. We
Yeah.
pressured him into
Jim's
voting.
the only one.
It was a 4-0. It was a 4-0 decision.
I thought it was
No.
I thought
Yeah,
it was
Jim-
illegal to vote for yourself.
Yeah, Jim voted for him to stay. The other 3 voted that he goes. And so
I mean, I was confused at the time, if you know what I mean. So,
I
don't
knew
know what I voted
exactly
for.
what I was doing, and I think it will be good for you, Johnny.
But actually, it's in an ironic twist of fate. John's apartment is just above our garage.
well, I still haven't.
But
Don't
he
worry,
will
you'll
be
find
paying
it.
rent.
Yeah.
I still can't find a place. It's hard finding an apartment, but then it's like people want you to call their landline, but then they don't answer the phone, but you also can't email them. It's like, if you're posting it on the internet, you should take emails about it. Like, come on.
Agreed.
Phone calls. What are you, 80?
Scammers, and you should ignore those ads.
No, the scammers are the ones where it's like $400 cheaper than any other apartment, and it's all. Oh, there's a very easy way to know if one's a scammer, but the thing is, you can't search by it, so it's frustrating. The scammers will always say that it's wheelchair accessible on Craigslist. They'll always say that it's furnished. I don't want a furnished apartment.
Oh, yeah.
Ugh.
When I was
you
trying
tried,
to
like, rent.com? Does that work?
No, all the sites you're gonna suggest do not work in Canada. So
They're not good.
I
They're not great here either. So
Yeah.
I was trying to rent a house once when I was in college, and I found what I thought was like a great one, like newer house. It was way cheap, like within my price range. So I inquired about it on Craigslist, and the guy was like, "Yeah, totally. Let's go check the house out." He's like, "But I can't make it," and I was like, "Well, how am I supposed to get in the house?" He's like, "No, it's fine. You can just look in the windows, and if you like, and if you like what you see, just you can just PayPal me." For
Oh,
some bread." And I was like, "Oh yeah, totally."
What a piece of garbage.
Johnny, I know you just said that the websites we're going to suggest won't work, but I know for a fact that Sotheby's International Realty does have listings for Canada.
I do not have Sotheby's money.
Not since you're paying us rent.
And also, like, someone suggested a time that I can't do, and they never wrote me. It's just come on, just let me look at your stupid apartment that I'm going to be paying you thousands of dollars for. Come on, why is this so hard? Anyway, that's my rant. I did not. I put a lot of stuff into my Amazon cart, and I even added stuff to my Amazon wish list. But I was like, I don't like sharing these with people. It's more for me to remember what I want to buy later. I just don't. I have enough games. I've got a big stack of games I haven't played yet. So, yay. Jim, what about you? Wait, one more.
Oh.
Nope. No, I already talked about it. Never mind. Do go on. Jim, what about you? How do you level up?
I don't think I really did anything. Yeah. I did, Thanksgiving was last week.
Well, tell
Did
us
that.
about that. You cooked that beautiful bird.
I did cook a beautiful bird. Cooked a real beautiful bird. And I made some mashed potatoes, and we had some pies, and it was a good time.
You put a
think
cheesecloth on it.
I did, yeah. You put the what do they call it? Compound butter under the skin of the turkey, and then you melt the rest of it, and you soak a cheesecloth in the melted butter, and then drape it over the turkey, and it is Moisture Town. Moisture Town population, your mouth.
Fun.
It's good
Sounds
stuff.
good.
Mm-hmm. Vanessa, how'd you level up?
I watched a movie called No Time to Die. James
Ooh.
Bond is no time in to die. A James Bond film. This was the final installment in the Daniel Craig James Bond series. I liked it a lot. I didn't like it as much as Casino Royale. They knocked that out of the park and were never quite able to catch up, in my opinion. But I tend to like a James Bond movie. Perhaps a controversial take, perhaps a hot take, but when I was a kid, I used to have a friend over. We'd watch James Bond movies all day. We like them. Like spies, like glamour, like James Bond.
I didn't like all the testicle trauma in Casino Royale.
I loved it.
It was physically painful to watch.
I did not have that experience.
Casino Royale is the GoldenEye to
Of Daniel Craig's Bond
Daniel
era.
Craig's Bond era.
Yeah.
Never got better than that.
Yeah, I mean, Daniel Craig's movies, I feel like they do like one good one bad one, and they sort of kept that pattern the whole time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Quantum of
Skyfall,
Solace.
pretty good. Quantum of Solace. They say it's better if you watch it right after you watch Casino Royale, but I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
And then Spectre didn't leave an impression at all.
I totally forgot that movie existed.
It does. And I also watched a docu-series on Netflix called 7 Days Out. Jim, you're my fellow docu-series aficionado. I'll tell you about it. This show deals with major events, and it starts 7 days before the event. So they do the Westminster Dog Show. They do like a big fashion show. They do a League of Legends tournament. But the one that made me cry was about a NASA mission. So,
Oh, interesting.
if you're looking for a good cry, maybe that will work for you too. Or maybe the League of Legends one will make you cry. I don't know. I don't know what makes anyone cry. I just know I was sitting there bawling over a thing rocketing through space, and I was just like, look at this space.
That's cool. I'll have to check that out.
Yeah.
Actually, I have a level up in progress. Speaking of documentaries, I started watching one on HBO Max like an hour before we went to record this episode. And it's on HBO Max. It's called Life of Crime, 1984 to 2020. And it follows these people in Newark, New Jersey, beginning in 1984. And they're kind of like petty criminals and drug addicts. It follows them through the 80s and 90s and the 2000s. as they like go to jail and get addicted to drugs, and it's very gritty, super gritty. It's very interesting. It like shows them going into like a Woolworths and stealing a bunch of stuff and then fencing it for money, and it's very like raw and gripping. I liked it a lot. I'm excited to finish it.
It sounds kind of like the 7-Up series, if you're familiar with that. That's the one where the guy like filmed kids when they were 7 years old and then went back like every 7 years to check in on them throughout their whole lives.
Yeah, I think and like I'm not super far into it, but it seems to follow like 3 or 4 people as they, they'll go into prison for like 5 years and then it'll probably pick up when they're released. And there's like people that they're just like kind of bouncing in and out of prison, and it kind of staggers the perspective of the documentary around them as they get involved in these different things in their life. It's really interesting. Okay, sorry to interrupt, Vanessa.
No, it's okay. I was all done. Who to pick? Matt. How did you level up?
I've been watching a lot of Star Trek lately, and I watched all of Star Trek Lower Decks. And I thought, this is the best sequel to Star Trek The Next Generation and Star Trek GS9 that they've made since those shows.
Is Lower Decks animated?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a little, it tries to like walk a line between being like kind of edgy, like a Rick and Morty type show where there's like talk about drugs and like kind of wanton violence, but then it also wants to be Wonton, sorry. And, but it's good. It's particularly the second season I thought really figured it out, and it had a lot of each episode, not each episode, but a lot of episodes had fun Star Trek style stories of just like random nonsense happening. And, it's more serialized, which I think works better for Star Trek than the new shows and their season-long arcs. Anyway, that got me watching Star Trek The Next Generation again. Hey, it's everybody's favorite show. We've talked about it on this show like 3 times. You guys want to talk about Star Trek?
I watched the first episode of Discovery, season 4.
Ooh, what'd you think?
I'm just not in the mood for it right now. It was like, why does this have to be so harrowing? And why does it only have to, like, I don't like that they've made the protagonist the only character for a lot of the show. Like, it's almost always about her and not about the rest of the team. And, I mean, she's fine, but the show should be more about the whole crew. Like,
I think each episode has B-plots about the rest of the crew, but she's the main focus of every episode.
Yeah, and unfortunately the B-plot
She's
of the
always the
first
A-plot.
episode was about Saru, who's maybe the most boring character on the show.
I like Saru.
I don't care about his planet, I gotta say. I'm sorry.
Yeah. I agree with you. I like where Discovery is this season and last season way more than where it was before. But, like I said, I went back and started watching The Next Generation again, and all I can really say is that Star Trek is a show that is made for each episode to be about a weird sci-fi premise, and they've just ditched that entirely. And that sucks. Now it's Star Wars. Everybody's right. Now it's just Star Wars. Now it's just a story about a person. Anyway, I have been watching Star Trek The Next Generation again. I am knowledgeable enough now to just straight up skip the episodes that I know I need to skip. So the minute they say Luxwana Troy...
No, those are the best ones.
She's the greatest character of all time.
The minute that Geordi has a girlfriend, I'm fucking out of there. The minute Data is dressed up in some sort of costume, particularly as Sherlock Holmes.
No, the only ones
gone.
you really have to skip are the ones where it's like, this is going to be about Klingons and honor.
Yeah, that's it. I like some of those. I like it. I like Worf's struggle sometimes, but I like it when he struggles with his humanity and not his Klingon side. Because the Klingon stuff, as you have said a million times, and I agree with you wholeheartedly, the warrior race thing is so fucking tired. I can't do it. Can't do it anymore.
My favorite episodes are the ones about Barkley the pervert.
I did rewatch. I got to the episode "Measure of a Man," which I think might be my favorite Star Trek episode, even though it's really early, where they have the trial about whether or not, or a hearing about whether or not Data is property of Starfleet. That's a good one. That really gets you. I also have realized that what people like more about Picard than Kirk is that Patrick Stewart has a voice like fucking smooth butter, baby. Like, with that accent, everything he says sounds commanding. And Kirk, just a douchebag. Just some 60s looking douchebag. All right, well, that's it for me. Star Trek. Let's get into the main segment of the show, shall we?
The Wonderlog.
The Wonderlog. Ooh, I guess I get to be the guy today, huh? Because I wrote the notes.
You're the guy.
All right. So we left off a little early last time of where we meant to, so we're going to have to start off with our assault on the Heracles. If you recall last week, we ended with a reveal that our good friend Raven was actually Captain Schwan of the Schwan Brigade. He's a knight.
And an Iron Man.
A Frankenstein, yeah.
And then he died. He did get squashed by some big rocks. That's going to be a recurring theme in this episode.
I feel like, I don't know. If you get squashed by a big temple of rocks, your body is absolutely fucked.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you're definitely just...
Yeah. Isn't that what happened to that sentient Ketchi in Final Fantasy VII? Didn't he get a whole temple dropped on him?
No, they just made a new robot.
Well, it didn't get dropped on him so much as like folded and folded and folded until it was too small to exist in reality.
Oh, yeah, he got honey shrunked. Mm-hmm. He got honey shrunked.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, so we leave poor Captain Schwan / Raven's broken body behind in the dirt, and we forge on because Alexei has taken Estelle to the Heracles. Bum, bum, bum. Mm-hmm. So we're gonna head after him with Baul. Mm-hmm. And of course, everyone is sad because Raven's dead, and they have a whole conversation about it on the ship as we fly towards the Heracles. If anybody wants to say a word for Raven, speak now. Or forever hold your peace, please.
I thought it was interesting how sad Carol was. He seemed to see Raven as a sort of father figure, which I hadn't gotten that impression before, but that's what he claims to be the case, and I believe him.
He's always really happy to see Raven when Raven comes in and out of the party.
I mean, just because he sees people as father figures doesn't mean they are. He seems to see everyone as a father figure.
He's just a little boy.
Mm-hmm. The Dawn, Yuri, Estelle.
Is he an orphan?
Judith.
Yuri, Estelle would probably be more of a mother figure.
Is Carol an orphan?
I've seen no indication that he's not an orphan.
Okay.
Everybody in this is a garbage orphan. Mm-hmm. Yeah, they all are. Well, he's Carol. So yes, he's a garbage orphan.
Okay.
Okay, so we head after Alexei, and we come upon the Heracles. It's a big, awesome tank with like tanky spider legs. Mm-hmm. It's like a boat with tanky spider legs and a big cannon on it.
I like
it would probably
that.
be more efficient just to make that thing a boat.
They have a long cutscene where we just like talk about how dangerous this is going to be, and then the Flynn Brigade kind of attacks the ship and hits it. They just ram it, which is pretty good. Mm-hmm. And that fucks it up enough that we're able to swoop in and get dropped off on the Heracles. And who do we run into but the old Schwan Brigade? That's right. Aloysius.
Frank Miller.
And Dinosaur.
Yeah.
What's their names?
Yes. Okay. Aloysius, Frank Miller, and Dinosaur. and they're sad.
Yeah, they're sad too because Raven's dead and everybody's real bummed. Mm-hmm. But then, guess who's back? Back again.
Estelle?
Raven's back.
Oh.
Tell a friend. That's right, Raven's there! He's like, what's happening, dudes? And we're just like, wow, Raven!
That's so Raven.
Wow.
Yeah, he just shows up and he's just like, hi.
No, Schwan died again. Raven's fine. Weren't you guys paying attention? So I guess my remember I wasn't sure if he actually was Raven or if there's two. No, they're definitely the same person. He just sort of likes to separate his personas.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, I mean, he was like a mole or something.
Kind of.
Yeah. Because he said that Alexei or whoever sent him, turned him into Raven, I thought, and told him to go. Oh, okay, whatever. It doesn't matter. Mm-hmm. That's not in this chunker. Mm-hmm. This chunker is about Heracles. Raven's back, and we have a whole conversation with him. He's fine. He rejoins the party. We tell him, your life belongs to Vesperia now. Mm-hmm. And he's happy about that. And we tell him that we're going to have to punish him. Mm-hmm. John, do you want to tell us how?
I love his punishment. Yeah. So they decide that...
So it's going to be nasty.
They decide the only fair punishment is for every single character to hit him on the head.
Mm-hmm.
And
with
their fist?
Their fists.
Yeah.
So they all fisting.
Is this called running a train?
That's right. They run a train on Raven, fisting him as they walk by.
No.
Everything I just said was 100% accurate.
But I just want to talk about how cute and fun. This is maybe my favorite cutscene in the game is literally in a row, everyone walks past him. It's a bit like that scene in Airplane. They walk past him and then punch him and then keep going, and then the next person comes and punches him. And until who was the one at the end? It wasn't Estelle. There's someone who's like, I'm not, don't worry, I forgive you, and then they punch him anyways.
Was it
Patty?
Flynn?
Oh, I think that was Patty.
Maybe it's Patty.
Oh yeah.
Oh no,
that
maybe
sounds
it
like
was
Patty.
Flynn. Maybe it was Flynn.
I think it was Judith.
Was Flynn in your party at this point?
I could not remember for the life of me if he was with us on this fucking boat or not.
I remember later in the chunker, because he wasn't in a lot of this chunker, and then I opened up my menu towards the end, and he was there in the party, and I was like, oh, okay.
He might have been. I don't remember, but maybe it was. Yeah, actually, you know what? I think it was Flynn because I think Flynn had a dramatic. It was either Flynn or Patty had a dramatic talk with him, but then punched him anyways, and I thought that was great.
Yeah, it was pretty funny.
Good.
So this ship is kind of a long dungeon, and there's a lot of dumb puzzles. Does anyone want to talk about these great puzzles? There's a lot of spider robots in here. There's some.
The puzzles were fun. I think this is the best puzzle dungeon they've done. Where
you think so? You liked the doors?
The ones where you have to drop stuff on the doors was pretty fun. That was,
yeah,
on the
drop
door controls.
Stuff on crystals or door controls or something. Yeah, that was all right.
I like that. It was a Zelda puzzle, and it required some thought, but it worked well.
Yeah, these I agree with you actually. Even as much as I kind of didn't like the castle, even it I thought had some decent kind of. Wait, no.
Ooh.
No, I'm thinking about Zaude.
Yeah,
I didn't hate the water stuff.
Yeah,
I don't mind.
Yeah, that was a good puzzle, but the castle one was just annoying because the castle needs a map. Yeah. Yeah, the puzzles were fine. So there's all these conveyor belts that are running, and you need to stop them and then push.
You need to shoot crates off of them so that they drop onto other things,
or push crates
with your ring.
Yeah, a lot of ring puzzles in this one.
There's a lot of ring puzzles in every.
Reminds me a bit of Wild Arms. These kind of puzzles.
Oh yeah,
except Wild Arms had jumping and stuff too.
But that's another one that is on my list for the show to do one of these days.
It's a good game.
PlayStation Wild Arms.
Yeah, it's fun.
That game needs a remaster so that I can
look at
2 times speed my way through that thing because man, it has some slow ass combat.
Oh yeah, you're right. Those
really?
Those fights.
Oh,
I can't handle that.
Yeah,
slow combat makes me
each battle takes 3 or 4 minutes at least.
Really?
So don't play that one.
Yeah.
Gotcha. So well, we get through the puzzles and stuff, and it's it's a ship. We finally make it to the control room, but Alexei is nowhere to be found. Uh-oh.
What?
Alexei's not here.
What?
But we do run into Zaude.
Ginger Spice. And she's like, tell me what you want, what you really, really want.
And what you want is to fight me because my name is Zaude and I love to fight Yuri for some reason.
Her Ginger Spice's solo career is not going well, and she has turned it into an insane. She wants to. This game just has too many Sephiroths. You got Alexei, you got Zaggy, you've got Duke.
Yeah.
Too many Sephiroths.
Zaggy is not a Sephiroth.
You don't think Zaggy's a Sephiroth too?
No.
No.
Honestly, Alexei's not a Sephiroth either. He's just got white hair.
Okay.
Duke is a Sephiroth.
Who is?
Zaggy's the guy with the pink hair and like the knife hands or
but
some
who
shit.
would be his Final Fantasy VII analog? Reno? I don't know.
Yeah. Yep. That's it.
Yeah, I guess.
So we fight Zaggy, and it's not. Well, it wasn't a tough fight for me, but when you do beat him, Yuri does just
Yes, do
straight
not
up
comment
blast
on the
his
difficulty
ass.
of these fights.
Sorry that you find video games hard. Yuri blasts his ass out of the window of the control room to presumably his death.
Yeah,
but then-
and everyone just watches. They also sort of, like, for the first time, seem to acknowledge that Zaggy is, like, super horny for Yuri.
Yeah, and they're
Yeah.
just open about it. They're like, "Wow, Zaggy really has a crush on you, huh?" And Yuri's like, "Well, I don't want to talk about that." And they're like, "Yeah, but he wants to be your boyfriend. How do you feel about that, Yuri?" Anyway,
And Yuri's like, well, you know, Flynn and I, we sort of have this will they, won't they thing going on, so I don't think it's going to work with Zaggy, and maybe that's why Zaggy wanted to kill Flynn at the beginning. It's a very complicated.
and Zaggy did smash up some controls on his way out. I guess, feeling rejected, he sort of pouted a bit and smashed up some stuff.
Yeah, he's like,
Well,
fine, you don't want to be with me? I don't want your ship to fly. How about that? Smash, smash.
I'm gonna make it shoot its big old laser, and you won't have your stupid capital anymore.
Yeah, so have fun with your
He actually,
boyfriend in rubble.
He actually he shows back up as we are trying to figure out how to get this cannon under control, but he gets fucking laser blasted back out of the ship by Jaeger.
Oh, Jaeger.
Oh,
It's me, Jaeger.
It's me. It's me, your weather friend, Jaeger.
For no
Hello.
good fucking reason, by the way. We have a death warrant for this dude. Like, he's our straight up enemy. We have agreed to kill him. Why did he save us? I don't know why he saved
well,
us.
It doesn't explain
It
it.
does. They do. Well, they have some theories about it. Maybe that was one of the skits. There is a skit that where they talk about why would Jaeger come in and save you, but he says it. He's like, "Oh, I didn't. Why'd you save us, Jaeger? Well, I don't want the Empire to win either.
Oh, that's right. Yes, that's right. He does not want
Because
the
I am
Empire
an
to win.
arms merchant. I like to sell, and the more sides there are, the more armies there are, the more guns they'll need. So I got to keep things in a sort of state of unbalance."
So, we are unable to stop the Heracles from firing, but we do manage to misdirect it, or really, the fleet manages to redirect it by, again, ramming.
Yeah, that was pretty fun.
Yeah,
There's
that
this
was
weird part where, like, I think somebody manages to, like, change the cannon's aim, but then the ship, like, aims back at the cannon. I don't know, man. It's dumb.
Cool. Well, they
But,
changed the course of the ship just enough to where it's not gonna
Yeah.
leave a big smoking laser hole in
Yeah.
that city or whatever.
I mean, it does leave a big smoker and laser hole beyond the city.
Yeah.
And it is straight up at yet another giant energy mushroom cloud.
It's like the Juno cannon.
Except the mushroom cloud has, like, magic rings? It's real weird. But anyway, the enormous laser does fire. And, of course, we immediately decide that Alexei must be at the Capitol. Though, quick question. If Alexei is at the Capitol, why would he want the laser fired at the Capitol?
Maybe he's not there yet?
Well, maybe Zaggy wanted it. Zaggy wanted to blow up the Capitol, not. He was like, "Oh, if you can't have me, I'm gonna blow up your house, stupid."
Does Ziggy work for Alexei?
Ziggy. I kind of like it better. I don't think. I think Ziggy was hired by, Yeah, I guess it must have been Alexei because it was like those two people or that one first guy we murdered hired them,
Mm-hmm.
right?
First guy we murdered.
Yeah, the one who we knocked off a
Rigaud?
bridge. Yeah, he was. They were
Yeah.
hired by Rigaud, so I guess, and Alexei was the one that masterminded Rigaud's stuff. So kind of.
I mean, apparently he's here. It's unlikely that it's coincidence, right?
I don't know.
Well, I think he's just been following Yuri around.
I think there's too many Sephiroths.
Maybe.
And one Sephiroth is horny for Yuri.
We jump onto Baul, we head to the capital to face Alexei, and we get a big anime cutscene as we approach the tower of whatever, where Alexei is holding Estelle. Alexei, who has Estelle in like a bubble force field,
A
taps
hamster
into
ball.
her power, and manages to straight up blast us the fuck out of the sky!
Oh, no.
Baul, no. This scene confused me, because Yuri was doing a lot of, like, jumping off the ship. I don't know.
Yuri
Yeah.
did like a midair reach out and touch Estelle, and then she blasted him.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, he deserved it.
Mm-hmm.
Keep your hands off. You know, Zidane had to learn it. Yuri, you gotta learn it too.
Mm-hmm.
And Estelle's
Fancy
doing
go
her whole
fuck.
thing of like, kill me. I'm too strong to live.
It's my least favorite game trope. Is the kill me thing.
I didn't like it when Jean Grey did it in the 80s, and I don't like it now.
Mm-hmm.
But it shows the purity of her soul and the willingness to sacrifice, but also, like, the man can then tell her she's dumb.
I'm trying to think of games where a guy said to kill him. It doesn't really happen much. It's usually ladies.
Yeah, that's true.
What was
Darth
that
Vader was
game
like,
we...
"Kill me,
It
bro,"
happened
wasn't
in
he?
well, it didn't.
Yeah,
he
he
didn't
was-
say it in House of Ashes, but you do it in House of Ashes.
That's true.
Darth Vader does say, "Luke, kill me." Just do
Bro.
it.
His famous quote, "Luke, kill me."
Doesn't he?
He
doesn't
says,
he-
"You'll die without your mask." And he's like, "Let me look upon you with my own eyes."
All right. Well, anyway, Baul gets straight up fucking murdered. Not really, but he is knocked out, and we lose that travel mode. We land We land near the crater that the Heracles created, and it is blocking our way back to the capital. So we have to turn around and go the opposite way to Nor Harbor, where we find. I don't remember why we can't get out of Nor Harbor. All the ships are gone, or what?
I don't
we,
remember.
we woke up in Nor Harbor, right?
No, we didn't.
I thought.
We
Oh,
land near the Heracles and have a conversation in like a field.
oh,
And then
okay.
because Baul is like laying on the ground.
right.
Oh yeah, he
Yeah,
got hurt.
And so every time Judith talks to Baul now, it looks like she's on her phone. She's like,
It
and
is.
she,
She's
like,
got like a conch shell
she
that
gives
she
her
talks
power
into.
her power finger. Hold on, I'm on the phone.
Yeah.
Just a second.
Pharaoh does it to her too. She calls Pharaoh on the fucking
She
thing at one point.
does,
So
a
she
couple
does
times.
she has an Entelexeia cell phone.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, we go to Nor Harbor and we learn of another way around to the capital. We have to go north again. That's right, around the mountains, around the very tip of the northern continent, onto the ice flows. We have to go to the blade drifts of Zofir.
Ooh,
Ooh.
that sounds so menacing.
I liked this. This is fun. You have to walk in the overworld around the mountain, along the coast, and now there's like some ice flows or whatever that have like attached to each other, and you can walk through here. And I think it's pretty cool. I thought it was a fun use of the overworld.
I completed this whole dungeon in max 25 minutes.
Yeah, this
Loved
was
it.
this was a good length for a dungeon, unlike some of
Yeah.
the later dungeons in this
Mhm.
chunker.
Well, it's
Yeah.
pretty quick. You just kind of head through it. There's one major thing though, which is that there is a field area that we pass through, and that's the Blade Drifts of Zofir. And as we pass through it, we do run into an air crane.
It's a
And
whale.
monster attacks.
Well, there's this
Is this a
whale.
monster or an Entelexeia? I'm
They,
not sure
well,
what
they,
this is.
they asked that. They're like, "Is that an Entelexeia? It's huge." And you're like, "No, it's just a monster," because Judith couldn't like call it
Oh,
up
yeah,
on
yeah.
her mental phone.
It's
Yeah,
been
yeah, yeah.
menacing us through the field, which was sort of interesting. Like, you go down one path, and then it comes and smashes the path, and you have to go a
Oh,
different
that's
way.
right.
Mm-hmm.
This was fun. Yes.
It reminded me of that Resident Evil 8
Mhm.
guy, the sad toad, who's like,
The
my
fish man.
mommy.
Yeah. What a great boss.
This is great, and everybody loves this part, and we're all going to talk about it now. The monster traps us, the air crenade goes nuts, and it debilitates the group, and somehow Carol gets knocked away or gets away, and Carol has to fight the whale one-on-one, and everybody loves it.
Everyone loves it. It was super easy, and I didn't die. Okay, I died once. What I had to do to get through this fight is to put Carol into auto and just let him do it by himself.
Yeah, if you haven't used him all game, like, his moves are garbage, like, and good luck figuring that out in time for this garbage boss.
Also, the, like, hitbox on this thing, like, I couldn't figure out, it was hard to figure out where you could damage him because he's floating above, Carol, and I had Carol using, like, this big hammer, and he never, like, swung it, he would just, like, push it. So it was hard to figure out where to hit this guy.
But you don't actually have to defeat him. You just have to survive a certain amount of time. So if you put Carol on auto, he'll use like his heel hammer and just smack himself in the face a whole bunch and be like, I'm doing it! I'm beating him! Look at me go! And then somehow his efforts make everyone realize...
Sword.
Oh yeah,
Oh, yeah, that was
a
pretty
big
fun.
sword.
Like, he finds a sword in the snow when he loses his hammer, and then he pulls it out, and it's a giant sword like the sword he used at the beginning of the game, but was too unwieldy for him, and then Yuri broke it, and now every sword he's had since then has been broken, and it's been really stupid, and for the first time in the game, he gets an actual fucking sword.
And it's just long enough for people to get to wake up from being blasted by the air, I think.
So the party rejoins you, and you whomp a whale.
You whomp it, and it's dead. You still have a little chunk of the blade drifts to do, but then you head out, and you then head south. And the game doesn't really tell you. Well, as soon as you head out of the blade drifts, poor Carol passes out because he's a little tuckered out, little buddy.
Yeah,
and you have to carry him.
Not for that long, because eventually they're sort of looking at Carol. Raven is carrying him, and Yuri's like, Carol, you're awake. And he's like, no, I'm not.
I don't remember that part.
Yeah, I think that depends on whether or not you go to Halur, because I went to Halur and then, like, rested up, and then Carol felt better.
Oh, interesting. I was exploring around the ice floe a little bit, and so maybe that made a difference, because then when I was leaving the ice floe, Carol's like, I'm awake, I'm not asleep, and Raven is like, I have to keep carrying you, you've been awake this whole time. He's like, no.
But I took him to Tree Town. Tree Town was full of refugees from Zaphius.
Yeah. What happens if you don't go straight to Tree Town? Because I went just because I like it. I wanted to see it, but I didn't get a prompt to
maybe
go
you
there.
have to. I don't know.
I went there to buy some more holy bottles to keep enemies from bothering me in dungeons.
I did use a bunch of those in Zaude. Zaude. But the city was just full of refugees, and Yuri is then in maybe one of the dumbest "this has happened 8 times now, we can get over this" moments in the game. Yuri's like, I'm gonna sneak away. I don't know if he thought he was gonna have to murder somebody, and that's why he wanted to sneak away.
When you first gain back control of Yuri here, his only line of dialogue is, I gotta do the job nobody else wants to do.
Yeah, he's gonna go kill Alexei.
And but Rapide does come with him. Here's the point where I think Vanessa and I both ran into the problem of if you follow the path that hits, I forget that it hits that port or that fort first before it hits Zaphius. So right before there is a Gigantor that you won't see because it's kind of off screen. And I was like, why is this fight so hard?
In the field?
Yeah, in the field. If you go south,
there's just I thought that was weird too. There's a random. I didn't see any other. I've never seen any other giant boys in the overworld. This is in the overworld.
Yeah,
I saw one. You have to. Yeah. Well, you have to cut through Koi Woods after Halure.
Yeah.
I saw
So you
a
have to go to
Giganto
Halure.
monster in the background. Did you guys see that?
Yeah, I saw it too.
I didn't know how to get to it.
Me
oh,
neither.
I fought that one.
Where? In Halure?
In the
In Koi Woods.
It's near the
Oh.
beginning if you go like left and then sneak through a tree. Or
Oh,
something.
I tried to get up to it and I couldn't find the route.
I think you have to sneak through a tree.
I
think.
That's a big butterfly thing.
Anyway, there's a whole thing.
No, the
here where,
butterfly's
like,
in the desert.
We reconnect with the party again. Surprise! And you're all right. This is obnoxious. But I mean, I guess he is going to murder Alexei.
Well, he passes by the Blastia that he remembers talking to what's her face about, and she tried to eat some kind of nut. I can't remember what.
It's
happened.
a fruit. Some
Oh
fruit
right,
that
yeah.
that
She
was
tried eating
terrible.
a fruit, and he's like, "I'm gonna nap here because now I just feel sad because I'm probably gonna have to murder Estelle, maybe."
Yeah.
And then
And
as
everybody finds him.
yeah, he's like, Rapide, keep watch, but Rapide doesn't keep watch. He runs off to get his friends.
Don't they all walk by and give? Once they find him, don't they all walk by and give him the same treatment as Raven and like bonk him on the head?
Yeah, you wake up to like all of them kicking you.
Yeah.
And calling you an asshole.
From Koi Woods, the gang heads, for some reason, and I didn't quite understand why it forced me to do this. It wouldn't let me into the capital, and it made me go to Dayton Hold first. But whatever, you go from Koi Woods to Dayton Hold, which we went around? I don't understand what's happening. But at Dayton Hold, we run into the army again. And a army from the capital of mechanical spider monsters attacks or is rushing across the field.
Mm-hmm.
And the Flynn Brigade arrives to hold them off once again so that we can get away and assault the capital.
Yeah, and it shows up on the map as like a big dust cloud that you avoid, and you have to get around that to get to the capital. That was kind of cute. And then you make your way into the capital. The capital has been overrun by weeds, air weeds.
It's
Trees.
Yeah, it's kind of like a poison ivy situation looking thing.
Mm-hmm. It's like, do you remember Julia Louise-Dryfus's apartment in Troll, where she became like a dryad and it was just covered in like weeds and stuff?
No. What are you talking? The original Troll?
Yeah.
Oh, speaking of Harry Potter, the main character's name in Troll is Harry Potter.
Oh. You know, the original Troll.
Not Troll
Harry
2.
Potter.
And that's where like the old lady friend becomes some kind of like magical monster too. That was
I didn't know that.
weird movie.
The original
Louise-Dryfus
Troll
was
has
in
one
that.
of the scariest box arts I've ever seen. The box art for that terrified
Is
me
it just
as a
a
kid.
ball?
In Troll?
Yeah.
No, the original like troll horror movie,
Yeah.
the live action one.
Yeah,
no, it's like a troll looking thing, like coming around a corner.
Oh,
Scary
the box
looking,
art
yeah.
I remember is just the ball that gets lost in the basement, and that's how they find the troll in the first place.
Oh no, it's like a creepy looking troll looking like around a door or something.
Huh.
Anyway, so we assault the Capitol. We make it inside. It's all overgrown, and particularly, it's worth pointing out that the lower quarter is totally gone.
It has
Or
been
totally
like
covered.
and Yuri's super depressed because all his friends and everyone he grew up with are all dead because they got drowned in air.
Well, and we didn't see any refugees from the lower quarter in Tree
Yeah.
Town. It was just the rich people.
Did
And
you
they
like
were
that
like,
one cutscene?
Ho, 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 we have money. Yeah, there's a cutscene where you go to the inn and the innkeeper's like, there's one last room. And they're like, oh, great. And he says, you don't have to pay for it. It's been taken care of by FEMA. And,
King Yoder or Prince Yoder?
yeah.
FEMA. Man,
It's
Yoder
Yoder.
seems like a real good dude. He's a
Yep.
solid guy.
I'm sure nothing will change our minds on that Yoder forever. So then we're about to go to our room, and this rich couple comes in, and he's like, "Oh, I want a room." And the guy's like, "Oh, sorry, I just gave the last one to him." And the guy goes, "Well, I'll pay 10 times the price, and I'll pay you people 10 times the price too, and everyone will be happy." Of course, the room was free, so as we all know, 10 times 0 is 0 times the 0, and then you go to 0 and the 1.
It's 0.
And then you add the sum of the two. It's 0.
0.
So it's not really a great deal. And then the innkeeper's like, "Oh, my mistake. There aren't any rooms available." The rich people storm off, and then the innkeeper's like, "Here's the key to your room."
Who would want to stay in this backwater place anyways? We'd probably get
we'll just go to
fleas.
the port. Yeah. And Yoder's hanging around too, and Yuri's like, "So you're the one who made the inn stays free?" And Yoder's like, "Yeah, I sure am. I'm a good little boy." And then
He's
Yuri,
definitely not.
Yeah,
Yuri's
I don't think he's going to be a Sephiroth.
as Yuri asks about the people in the lower quarter, the advisor who's with Yoder is like, "Well, we couldn't save everyone. I mean, we had to get ourselves out, right?" And Yuri's just like, I guess maybe this is why he leaves. He's going to check on the lower quarter.
Yeah, I guess that is part because he's really upset, obviously, because that's all his like friends and family.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I'm ready to move on.
Mm-hmm.
Castle Zephius.
Yeah, you get there, everything like it's real bad. The Dane Nomos is just protecting them enough to get through it, but it's the air is still dangerously thick, and they're like, "Hey, Raven, are you gonna be okay, old man?" He's like, "I'll manage to get through somehow, I bet." Yeah, I'm ancient. And
A 35-year-old geriatric jerk.
Yeah, in the ice flow, he was like complaining. He's like, "Ice isn't good for old people." And they imply that that's why he was so happy in the desert, because he's old. And so he like enjoys the heat. It's good for his old joints.
mm-hmm. Well, maybe his robo joints freeze. And you get to the castle.
Raven
Finally,
is not a robot.
Yeah, he's not a robot. He's not a cyborg.
he's got some cyborgy parts to him.
I guess that's true.
He just has a Blastia. That's
It
not
looked.
a robot part.
I thought his chest looked all like metal and weird.
I think he just has a Blastia in there.
Okay.
It's his little Blastia heart. He's an Iron Man.
Yeah.
He replaced his heart with a Blastia.
Yeah, Iron Men's are robots. So you get into the castle, and it's full of the royal guard who are still on. They're still on Alexi's side for some reason. They have left Ioder's service and are now following Alexei into this insanity. One of my favorite bits is that you find a room, and the room is first it's being guarded by everyone's favorite guards. What did we call them? LeTrack, Campbell Soup, and Sparnod.
Sephiroth.
Sparnod.
Yeah. And they're like, "Hey, so we had to defy orders and we feel really bad about this," but they open the door and the whole lower quarter
It's all the
is
lower
there.
quarter people.
Yeah.
It's like 10 people.
Well, you see like a back room that's full of way more people too.
Is there people in there?
Yeah, you see
Uh-huh.
behind that archway.
The rope.
Yeah, there's way more people. So I like that.
Well, that's neat.
Yeah, they went to go get them. They aren't so bad after all.
I liked that they had a merchant in here. That's a good call.
Mm-hmm.
Because you could spend a lot of time in
And
this
you
dungeon.
can eat some curry from the kitchen and get your
Yeah,
HP and
heal yourself up.
TP healed up. And now it's your chance to figure out how there's a door to get to where Alexei is, but it's like, well, we don't know. It's only the super high elite people that have the combination to this door. And there was a statue that you might have seen the first time because it's right near the prison that had like a weird puzzle thing to it. and now you get to finally do that puzzle. But the puzzles, even though like there's a bunch of them before you get to the door, you can only start solving the puzzle once you get to the door, and then you can.
Right. Yeah. I tried to start it before I got to the door, and it did not work.
Same here.
Mm-hmm. But the answer is written on the door, so they're like, "Oh, it's a mysterious puzzle. Who could know?" It's like, well,
but if you do it
says it
out of order, you got to start all over again. Like if you do if you activate the first one first and then try to skip around and then go and activate the third one, not only will you have to fight some robots, you'll have to go back to the first one and reactivate it and then go to the second one. I made that mistake.
Yeah, that's irritating.
Yeah.
What I didn't, at least figured out eventually is that the floor has an icon as to which one is which. And that
interesting.
The floor has the correct phase of the moon on it. And so then you don't have to try, you can do it in one fell swoop. And so I did it without getting any wrong, and that was great.
I ran into a hallway in this castle. It's the hall where Estelle's bedroom is, and the guards there weren't leveled for this portion of the game. They were at the same level they were at the beginning of the game. Thought that was weird.
I didn't fight any enemies in this whole dungeon because I used the holy bottles until they would wear off and then just zoom around. I think I maybe fought the only enemies I fought here were the ones that I had to fight when I was trying to do the stuff out of order.
When I was right up until I got to the door, I was fighting all the enemies. But when I realized I had to backtrack and find all the shrines, I was like, okay, I'll use the holy bottle now just because, I'm going back and forth. And I don't need to grind that much. Although it turns out, because I've been doing that occasionally, I haven't been having any problems with the boss fights or anything until right at the end, but it turns out I was 10 levels behind where I should have been.
Wow.
Or over 10 levels behind.
Shouldn't have used those holy bottles.
I guess so.
Wow.
Well, I guess the game expects you to be grinding more, and I've got my skills tweaked so that I wasn't having any issues with the boss fights, even though I was under leveled right up until the end. Where
I can't imagine wanting to grind in this game.
Well, I'm glad this version of the game gives you some free options to avoid this.
What level are you meant to be at by the end of this chunker?
Level 55 to 60.
Oh, goodness. I'm under level 2.
Yeah. Because, I was playing on normal, but as long as you know what you're doing, none of the enemies do attacks that wipe out all your HP until you get to the end. And then there is the final boss of this chunker does have attacks that will kill the entire team if you're underleveled. So that at that point the game's like, well, just grind for 6 hours. But we'll get there in a second. So you unlock each shrine. The puzzle is that you do it in phases of the moon, starting from the new moon to the full moon, and then the door opens and you get this real spirally JRPG thing on top of the castle, and then you see in the distance you see Alexei with his hamster ball, and you get there and you gotta fight Estelle.
No, not Estelle. She's our best friend.
He's like, hey, she's under my control. She's fully operational, Death Estelle. And he does throw her at you, and Yuri... first it's everybody, and it's pretty easy. But Yuri's like, I won't kill Estelle. He's like, well, you're going to have to kill Estelle. And then you do a second attack and fight. And this one is just Yuri and her. And it's pretty... I did get killed once, but then I was like, wait, there's this item that you can use anytime to do a little minor healing on everyone. But it's Estelle's mother's memento, and it's like a flower wreath from her mom. And you can use that on Estelle here. And
really?
I figured this out all on my own. It does give...
Where do you get that item?
It's just... you just have it. It might be... either from searching Estelle's room, or you just get it when Estelle joins your party.
I tried to go in her room in the castle because you can run by her room,
Right.
and it just says it's locked.
Yeah, I've
I-
never been able to get in there.
Yeah, I was wondering.
Yeah.
I just have it in my inventory, so I assume you just got it at some point.
Oh, interesting.
And if you use that during this fight, Estelle's like, I don't want to fight you, and then her defense drops by like half and becomes a much easier fight.
Wow.
Yeah.
I already thought it was a pretty easy fight.
Once again, that.
Yeah, Johnny's playing on a
What?
harder level of difficulty than
You don't
we
know that.
are.
What are you talking about?
And
Who's we?
Johnny has not used any of the super special bonus items to make it easier.
Just admitted to using them. Just admitted to using them.
No, I haven't admitted it yet, but I will
No.
in a moment. That'll be the big reveal for this episode. That I finally
That's not the big reveal for the episode.
finally cheated in one of these stupid games. But
It's the first time. It's a big deal.
Yeah.
yeah.
There's no way that's true.
No, I'm pretty sure it is. So, unless you count the times for cheating, but I don't think so. Like the speed up.
Mm.
So you get to, so you defeat Estelle, and he's like, "Well, you guys suck. Anyway, like I've got all the power, and I can like summon Zaude. So you guys are jerks." And then you turn around. And I guess you can see it, even though it's like 8 continents away. You watch as Zaude comes out of the water. How's that, Vanessa? How's that happen?
I do
It's just
not
out in the
know.
ocean.
Yeah, but I can't stand on the shore and see. Oh, I understand what's happening. Their world is flat. You see, we can't stand on the shore and see things that are
But
miles
But it's
and
a
miles
disc
and miles
or
away.
something.
if the world is flat, how come when I go super far north, I come out the south?
Magnets.
Come out in the south.
Oh, that's true. That's true. Explain
It's big.
that
That's
one,
how.
Vanessa.
How can you see the Statue of Liberty?
How
From
can
the
I
shore.
see the
I
Statue of
can't
Liberty?
currently see the Statue
Yeah,
of Liberty. Is
no,
the
me
point
either.
I'm thinking.
Look out the window here in our New York Square Roots house.
Oh, Matt. Oh, that reminds me. I had a dream last night that Matt accidentally doxed me. It was terrible.
Whoa.
Accidentally, your name is on Facebook.
He you posted like a video of the front of my house, and I'm like, Matt, the house numbers are showing, and then you panned over to the street sign, and you're like, oh, I'm sorry, I'll take it down.
Did he go like put his finger on his cheek like I'm a bad
I'm a
little
bad
boy?
So what did you do in this dream that made me want to murder you? is the
No,
question.
it was a total accident, and you did not
Yeah.
mean to do it.
That doesn't sound like me.
No, I know it doesn't. If it happened in real life, you'd be like, lol, deal with it.
Do you guys ever worry you're gonna say LOL out loud in real life because you say it so much like on your phone?
Nope.
Nope.
Sometimes I worry it's gonna sneak out of my mouth.
I hope that I do.
I hope that it does.
Matt will say shrug emoji sometimes when we're, hanging out.
Well, that's only in the chat, and that's just because the shrug emoji died, and I can't find it anymore.
Yay.
Well, there's the real one, but there's the emoji version, but it's trash. It doesn't convey half of the disdain that the original shrug emoji conveyed.
My
I hate
favorite.
Shrug Man.
All right, anyway, so Zaude. Is it Zaude or Zaude? I can't remember.
Zaude.
Zaude.
Yeah.
This place is cool.
As he leaves Estelle behind to finish us up as he flees, which is pretty fucked up.
Mm-hmm.
Well, first we
let's
have a
say-
good rest, right?
Mm-hmm. Oh God. Yeah. So Estelle finally uses the power of friendship and breaks free of the hamster ball, and now she's a normal, real girl again. And
We get a big anime cutscene where she saved with the power of friendship.
mhm. And then you get the next day, and Rita's working with her to try and like configure a Blastia so she can like hang out and be normal. And then you get a wonderful chance to talk with every single one of your friends here.
Just find everyone's hiding place.
Everyone's hiding in this giant castle, which has 2 floors or 3 floors, and no map because I understand the layout of this place, but it's still really annoying to like find every single spot that they might be in. And I did walk in on Judith, and it did look like she was on her cell phone, and she did give me the power fingers, like 1 second, I'm on the phone. And she was trying to talk to Baul, who is fine. Baul has rested and is good now. And you also find Raven, who wants to be in prison for what he did. He feels very guilty, so he did some thinking.
Is that the deal?
Mm-hmm. He asked to be put in the cell.
I thought he was just like comfortable there.
Yeah, I thought that's like where he likes to be, and that explained the beginning of the game.
Well, I talked to
him. Straight up, that's like the first thing he says is like, "I love it here."
Well, I talked to a guard, and the guard says, "Oh, Raven asked us to put us into a cell because that's where he belongs." So that's where I got that.
Yeah, but Raven, he's tricksy. I think that's just like his like fuck off corner, where he goes when he doesn't want to do his job and he just wants to fuck off.
There's also a guard you could talk to who's like, "Oh, hey, Yuri, remember I was in part of your brigade? You and Flynn and I were all besties. Yuri, remember? Remember me, Yuri?" And nothing happens. Yuri doesn't remember him. It was great.
Yuri's so mean.
So yeah, you have to talk to every single person. You talk to Carol, and he's repairing everyone's bags and shoes and stuff. That was a cute little scene. And Rapide was there helping out. Rita is trying to reprogram Estelle's Blastia so that she can be okay and not sap her life force.
I don't understand what's going on with this.
Well, Estelle, currently Estelle's like inner child of light Blastia is now hooked up to her life force to make it super powerful. And that's bad because every time she uses it, it's not draining air, it's draining her.
Oh, okay.
But also they were saying that she can't leave the castle because it's suppressing her power. And if she leaves, she'll
she's
die
like
or
tapped
something.
to the Blastia, so she's stuck there.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know. He talks to some other people. You walk around. And so Estelle's. I did like the scene where Estelle gets out of her hamster ball finally and falls onto Yuri. I thought that was a nice little anime cutscene.
Yeah, the thing is, like, it's very jarring. The anime cutscenes are very good, but the CGI in the animated cutscenes is garbo.
Mm-hmm.
It is bad. It's like worse than Reboot.
It's very Reboot level for
it is,
sure.
Yeah, it's Reboot-ish.
So they're gonna head to Zaude, and as they leave, they're like, "Well, where's Estelle?" And Rita's like, "Well, she can't come. If she leaves this place, she'll start drawing on her own power, and anytime she uses an art, it will like kill her a little bit." But then, surprisingly, Estelle comes and says, "Actually, I am joining you."
I like this reveal here because they're talking about it, and I think Rita explains it, and another character is like, "Oh, well, she's obviously not going to come with us, right?" And then smash cut to like Estelle walking up to the group, and she's like, "Yeah, I am."
Mm-hmm.
And everyone's like, "Oh,
What?
Whoa! Who could have seen this coming?
yeah." Like this hasn't happened 30 times before already.
And then every character is like, "Well, if that's what she wants," and you cycle through every single character saying that. And also, you walk into Prince Yoder, and he's like, "Hey, I have one final request. I want my birthday boy." I call him birthday boy because I have Flynn wearing a birthday hat. I want my birthday boy Flynn, or party hat, I guess, to join your party. And everyone's like, "What?" But he's got stuff to do. He's like, "Yeah, he's got stuff to do. Help you. That's what he's got to do." And so that is that. And also, like, I guess they cleaned up all the weeds. The town looks fine. I don't know if
It
you
does,
noticed
yeah.
that. Yeah.
Looks great.
So
Well, they stopped the air current, so the overflow of air or whatever problem got solved when they murdered when they ran Alexei off and all that.
Mm-hmm.
So the weeds are gone.
Mm-hmm.
How does Alexei get away? Does he teleport or?
Oh.
Mm. He says squat-a-la and flies off.
I'm just out.
So we head out to Zaude.
Which is like, I like it. It's right smack dab in the middle of the map.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. The ancient
Cool.
fortress, or I think the ancient fortress is what
Ancient
it's called.
shrine?
Mm-hmm.
Ancient shrine? Anyway, we pull up on our cool... Baul, by the way, is fine now. This is part of that last cutscene that John was talking about. And so we fly up on Baul, and as we arrive, so does Pharaoh. But he gets totally blasted by the tower and runs away.
Well, no, he doesn't run away.
We-
He continues, like, up there attacking it. And then we're like, well, we could use his attacks up there as a diversion, because Alexei's going to be looking at that.
So we go land on the shore, and we're going to go through the fortress.
But
And this time, it's going to be a big dumb dungeon. But this time with water level puzzles. Hey!
you do take a side door because the main door is blocked by guards, and Carol can open up the gate. And then Flynn's like, oh, we're going to go through there. And Yuri's like, what, are you afraid of getting wet? Sorry, a big knight like you has to join us trash. And that was great. So we do go in through there, and I got most of the, I got all the extra chests. I didn't realize there's like a juggernaut thing that I fought, and I realized later was probably like a giganto, like the big robot golem. The
Yeah,
green
he's a
one.
giganto. That's further. That's pretty far in there.
I mean, yeah.
Well, first we have to fight Jaeger.
Yep. After we solve some puzzles, and then we fight Jaeger, and we're like, "Wait, Jaeger! I thought we were buddy now." He's like, "Oh, we were buddy, but now I have to kill you, and we're enemies and must fight to the death."
No, I'm so serious. Sorry.
And again, I didn't have any issues with this boss fight. I mean, it was pretty fun. It was a little challenging, but I liked it.
It's two-phase. He fights you once, and then he's like, now I show you my true power. But he doesn't
and he
change
got-
form or anything. He's just...
He's got a heart made
yeah,
of
he rips open his
plastia.
chest, and he's like, look,
Yes,
I
I'm
am
a
Iron Man.
raven.
he's Frankenstein.
And they're like, Alexei did this
Ravenstein.
to you too? And he's like, yeah, he did this to me too. And you
Okay.
fight him, and then you kill him. And he's like, well, later, fun boys.
Yeah,
Bye.
he just fucking dies.
Yeah.
He kind of just dies for no good reason, honestly. Like, why does he die here for Alexei when he didn't want Alexei to win?
I don't know.
What's the point?
And then...
Why even bother showing up here? Like, we want to kill you.
Yeah. They look over their shoulder, and his two little schoolgirls are there.
I like
And-
that I think Rita calls him his lady friends, which is what I tend to call. That was a very Johnny thing to say. Oh, his two lady friends show up.
And they have a little cry, and they run away.
Mm-hmm.
In the middle of this dungeon after this, you do walk up to a wall and just find the Maristella that Patty's been looking for the whole game. And
Yeah.
it's just on the wall.
And she's
It's
like,
just like part of the wall decorations.
oh, it's the Maristella. What's it doing here? I guess
Just
Ivory
a
had to
crystal.
put it here, huh?
It's
And then
also
they're like-
a usable item. Sorry.
Oh, what does
Oh,
it do?
really?
I think it just heals you a bit.
And then they're like, oh, yeah, you've been looking for this, huh? And she's like, yep. And they said, well, you said it was a clue to Eifried, right? And she's like, uh-huh, that's what it is. Well, we can talk about that later. Okay.
I've really come around on John's theory that that Rapide is Alfred.
That was my theory.
That was Vanessa's theory.
Oh, I thought that was your theory. Your theory is that Patty is Eifried.
That's Jim's theory.
What's John's theory?
John
I
doesn't
don't think I have
one.
one. I don't think I have one.
Well, I've come around on Vanessa's theory.
There's a so when they were designing this dungeon, and this dungeon's pretty long, they're like, how many skits should we put into this dungeon? And they turn to each other and they're like, I don't know, what's a good number? Maybe 30 or 40? Do you think would be
Uh-huh.
a good number?
What if there's a skit for every step you take in the dungeon?
And each skit is a good 5 minutes long.
I'm skipping all of these at this point. Or maybe watch the first minute. So we find the metal stair, the Mayor Stella, and we clear the rest of the puzzles.
The water
Head up
temple
to the top.
puzzles are pretty fun.
I like the water stuff.
I liked it, except for there's one part where I don't know how. I mean, maybe you guys got it, but I don't know how I was ever gonna notice that I needed to stand on the other side of the thing. You know, and like I had to you have to redo a puzzle twice.
That one, yeah. You have to shoot it from the side, or
Yeah.
else it doesn't work. Yeah.
I would not have figured that out.
I had trouble finding my way back to the bottom floor after the puzzle after.
Oh yeah, because you have to push the block.
Yes.
Yeah, I was like, well, I'll just
Into
go back
the
the way
water.
I came, and then
You
I have to
cannot
go
do
back,
that,
and
yeah.
then, no, you can't do that. Yeah.
Did anyone fight the big green Giganto?
Oh, I
No.
I didn't. Those things have over 200,000 hit points at this
Everything
point, and
does.
I just
There's
I don't
a
have that
lot
kind of
of
patience.
good stuff that guy's hiding.
Mm-hmm.
Like
like-
what?
Like some really good armor for
Ooh,
the
that'll make
ladies
these
in
easy
your
fights
party.
easier.
And a weapon for Judith that I already had, and one other piece of armor, I think, for Yuri, that was really good. There's some good stuff there.
So I'd assumed my level was pretty good. Like, because I fought that extra bonus boss, and I was like,
What
yeah,
level were you?
45, 46. And so I was like, yeah, I'm not having any issues with this stuff. And then I get to stupid Alexei, because you go through, you unlock the door by solving some puzzles and putting a red crystal into a thing.
Well, I wanted to say you go up before you get to Alexei, you open this door and then it makes you run up this long ass tower, and it actually looks pretty great. And I really wanted to take that as an opportunity to mention that the level design, not the level design. What am I looking for? What's the word I'm looking for, guys?
Environment.
Yes, the environments and the backdrops really do a great job of making this world look like big and open and cool, even when you're on a thin little path. Like this whole place is pretty awesome. You run up this huge it's not a pillar. I don't know what the fuck it is, but it's great. And Zaude looks great with its giant. We should probably describe it because it's going to become very important. Zaude is like a giant ring, and at the top is a platform, and above the platform is a giant green crystal, like the size of a fucking house.
Mhm.
So, John, what were you saying before we get to Alexei?
You solve puzzles and you put a red crystal into a thing, and then you open a door.
Mm-hmm. I got a bone to pick. Here's my pick and bone. This puzzle involves a lot of rising water levels and lowering water levels, but because this is an old game, we don't get the animation of the characters going up bib bob bib in real time. You can't swim around as it's rising. You don't get to experience it. It just fades to black, and then it's now the water level is high and you're up. And I was sad. Wow, thanks for the support, guys. I really appreciate you joining in my moment of sorrow here for the limitations of this game.
I'm sorry you were sad. So
That's
you find
right. I shouldn't talk on the show.
I agree. None of us should. The show would be a lot better if none of us talked. So Alexei does do a fight with us, and it's, I don't know, hard? Is it hard?
It's hard. It's very hard. Johnny, tell us how hard this fight is.
He's got a cool sword with
yeah. So
He has a lesser version of the Dane Nomos, a homemade version.
Yeah, he made it.
Yeah.
So some of these bosses like Jaeger and Alexei have these super mega ultra attacks where their face appears.
Mystic Card attacks.
Yeah, and I'm
Mystic
sure
Cards.
that we must have them too. I just
Yes.
don't know how to trigger them. I'll have to look that up. 'Cause-
Hard fucking same. I was trying to figure it out this time as well because we must have them by now. We probably have had them since the beginning of the game, but I went through all of the guide,
Skill-
not the guide.
Oh,
In the game, the journal, and it has the battle book. I couldn't find a fucking thing about it. Did I accidentally never trigger one? What's going on?
must
Jim and Vanessa?
okay. You must have the special skill equipped. You must be an overlimit 3 or harder, and you have to use an arcane, altered, or burst art while holding the attack button. Oh,
So there's a skill you have to,
And so-
because I
and-
can already do the burst arts, which is the same thing.
Well, you have to be in the
command-wise.
overlimit to do the mystic arts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then you need to hold down attack instead
Yes.
of the art
I've-
button, I guess. So it
I've
would
never,
be
I've never done one either. I don't know
Me
why.
neither.
Explain it.
I'll look it up because it is like a big field of attack that kills everything, and I really need to figure that shit out because I'm tired
I
of these
will
fights.
say that like when Jaeger did it and when
cool.
Alexi does it, it's cool as hell.
Yeah.
Like you get
Cool as
that
shit.
that
By the
like
way-
anime strip on the screen of
Mhm.
like they're about to do a cool attack. It's pretty neat.
They tend to be like GIF type animation of like them talking.
Yeah.
But
it's pretty cool.
everybody has one too. It's not just Yuri. So you can actually, I know that I saw this, that each character has mystic arts. So you can trigger them for everybody.
Mhm. And
So that's fun.
there are different triggers for everyone. But yeah, it sounds like you have to use it while you're holding basically circle instead of X, I guess,
Okay.
or B instead of A, or whatever. You know.
Yeah. I guess I can see that.
I'll try it. I haven't done it yet. I haven't.
I'm going to want to use it on these
Anyway,
final bosses.
so-
'cause this shit takes forever.
So
Yeah.
this guy does that on us, and it wipes out my party, and because I didn't have enough HBs, is basically the problem. And I looked at the guide. The guy's like, "Yeah, you should grind until at least level 55, but to be safe, level 60." And I was like, "Yeah," because it was like 8:30 a.m. and we're recording at 5 p.m. and I need to sleep. And I was like, instead of grinding for 6 hours, I think I'm gonna use some of those gummies. Friends, I cheated at this game. I used some of those level up gummies, and I'm very
It's
sorry.
okay.
We don't
did it,
call
guys.
They were
cheating.
DLC.
We finally
It's not-
broke him.
It's not cheating. It's an
I'm proud
item.
of
It's
us.
a consumable you get to use. Like Matt told me, I was cheating for using the holy bottles, but those are items.
Yeah, I
you can
use the
buy
holy
at Any
bottles.
merchant.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not that you're cheating. You're just scumming the game.
Well, I just
Not
do it
scumming.
to.
I mean, Jim, I don't have any room to talk shit. I fucking scummed through the entirety of Final Fantasy VIII. The entire game!
Friends,
So-
we don't call
I'm
it
not
cheating.
criticizing.
We don't call it
Oh, you're right.
scumming. We call it using the power of Andraste.
So, Andraste
Sorry,
gave
very
me some THC, level up gummies, and I used them, and I was like, "Wow, these are great!" And now
John, those are illegal in Jim and Vanessa.
I'm level 60 something, and the game is very easy.
Yeah.
So
you know
Are you
what's funny?
playing on
I-
like normal mode, John?
yeah,
Like
I
playing
got-
on easy mode with like all the levels that I have, like even when Alexi was doing his like party ender attack, it took like 600 damage off my characters. Like,
Oh, wow.
pretty much nothing.
Before I went into this fight with Alexei, while I was in the middle of this dungeon, I just got kind of annoyed with how long the fights against the Royal Guard were taking. And all of my characters were around 4950, and I did take one of those 5-level gummies. And so we were all around level 55, and I really didn't have a hard time. I mean, his big power attack, I think I got lucky in that I had heals going off, like heal rings going off at the same time. But anyway, yeah, easy fight. And I'm playing on super hard difficulty.
Oh, I'm sure.
Yep. So, all right. So let's wrap this up, guys. I'm tired of this. We defeat Alexei, and it's like, is it over? No, because Alexei was working on his calculations to activate Zaude's whatever crystal
I'd like to talk
the whole
about
time.
some things that Alexei says.
Yeah.
Okay.
So Alexei sort of does his villain monologue and explains his
Mhm.
motivations. And
Yeah, I kind of couldn't remember this. What was his motivation?
so he says that the Empire is corrupt and full of crooked emperors and empresses, and that he needs to drain the swamp and make the world great again. And they discuss how all of the Imperial Guard has followed him, and they're like, but he's just like an idiot. He doesn't know what he's talking about. And Raven says, yeah, it would be great if they realized that for themselves, but I don't think that they're going to. And Alexei's like, I'm going to use this power. I'm going to wipe out a whole bunch of bad people, and then the world's going to be fantastic.
Are you saying something, Vanessa? Is there a subtext here that I'm not getting?
No, I'm just explaining what happens in the game.
I thought that, like, a lot of times when in this game, when villains will reveal their motivations, characters will respond with a lot of kind of like anime nonsense. But I think it was Estelle in this case who came up with a very good point, because Alexei's like, yeah, I'm going to restart the world. It's going to be great. It's the only way to, like, deal with the scum of humanity. And Estelle was like, there's no guarantee that this new world is going to be any better than the last one. And I was like, that's a pretty good point.
I agree.
Yeah. Because every character, like every other situation in this game, every character gets their chance to, like, have a one-liner.
Mm-hmm.
But Estelle made a very good point, and I was like, okay.
Yeah, that's a fair point, Estelle.
Yeah.
It's a fair point.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of one-liners, by the end of this chunker, I wanted to tear my ears off every time Patty opened her mouth, because it's all fish-related jokes.
This game's better if you turn off, or if you listen to something else as you're playing.
Yeah, I agree.
So anyway, Alexei manages to fire off Zaude's big-ass crystal because he thinks it's going to let him, whatever Vanessa just said, like, I got lost. And it does not do what he expects, gang.
Mm-hmm.
Instead,
No.
it shoots a big-ass laser into the sky, and suddenly, big grid appears, just like a barrier blastia grid, and it starts to disappear, and it disappears all as far as we can see across the horizon, and then giant monster come through.
Oh.
And then Alexei's like,
what is this thing? Because, like, when the sky opens up,
Adaphagos?
yeah, Autophagos.
Whoa. No.
It's a soft vowel.
Adaphagos.
Like
They,
Fago. Think of Fago, your favorite drink.
Yeah.
Fago.
But, like, the sky opens up and, like, this big... I thought it was a tentacle. It looked like a tentacle. And I was like, oh, this is cool.
It does
this
have some
game
suckers on
This
it.
is about to turn
Yeah,
into
like,
a
has some
hentai,
suction things on it.
right?
It's like a
This is about to turn
Cthulhu.
into a hentai where the whole world gets fucked by tentacles.
And
I don't mean every person. I mean the actual, like, the planet.
everyone's like, wait a sec. This is like that
Like all of our
mural.
volcanoes and stuff. Imagine those stuffed with tentacles.
This is like a
oh,
mural
man.
we saw back in my hometown.
Grand Canyon, so many tentacles just stuffing that thing.
And
Cramming it, filling it up.
Cramming those nooks and crannies
Yeah,
and
more like
crags.
the
and-
Cram Canyon.
and
The Grand Cramion.
Mariana's Trench.
and
Or like Mariana's filled with my...
Stench?
stench.
Yeah, that's what I call it.
Yeah. And so you'll note that the little
That's
area
what I
we've
call
been
Never mind.
fighting on
Mhm.
is this platform right under that big, sharp, pointy green blastia.
Yeah. We got a great anime cutscene here where Yuri, like, Alexei's talking shit. Like, what is this? We are worms! Somebody mentions that it's Adaphagos, and Alexei does kind of quickly understand that. Like, he doesn't fight it.
No,
know,
but
but
he's
he's
also
not
like,
like,
he
"No,
immediately
no."
becomes a nihilist. He's like, oh,
Yes.
it turns out I was the greatest fool of all, and now we're all going to die. Lol, 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 lol.
Yeah. Ha ha, we're all just worms on the cosmic platter for the fucking early birds or whatever.
Mhm.
The early birds being this giant worm. So, Yuri does attack Alexei and, like, slices him up a little bit.
Yeah.
But it does separate him from his friends Yuri attacks Alexei and slices him up a bit, but then, the crystal above us, whatever's holding it, cracks, and this giant crystal that was powering this barrier blastia that was covering the world
Mm-hmm.
drops right on Alexei's fucking head. So good!
Mm-hmm.
He does get squashed. And this, unlike when Raven gets squashed and we don't really see it, you do see this man, like, get pancaked. Right, guys?
Yeah, he's like blood. You see his rib cage just shatter. It's like it does a little
It's like
X-ray
one of those
thing.
Mortal Kombat, yeah, or like that old Fight Club game.
I don't want to gloss over that right
Fight Club
before
game.
that he does kind of shoot one last blast at Yuri, and then Flynn flings himself in front of Yuri to guard him from the blast.
Oh, finally.
That's right. That's right. Yeah, so Flynn dies here, right? Please,
Flynn
thank
dies,
God.
yep.
Does he die?
He's
Flynn-
like, Yuri!
Mhm.
Such a useless fucking character. For a character who does so much in this game, he's so fucking boring and useless. He's just always around to save the day for us when we need it to.
Like Superman.
Anyway, like Superman. The giant crystal does do a big old squash on Alexei, but it does separate Yuri from the rest of the crew. And, you know, everybody stands around and they talk a bit about Autophagos, and it was a Barrier Blastia that was protecting us, and I guess that Zaude, they thought, whatever Alexei thought it was actually just a big old Barrier Blastia protecting the whole world
Mm-hmm.
from Autophagos,
Mhm.
and they're all a little worried about that. But Yuri stares out over the edge of the, you know, the busted up Zaude platform and all the havoc that's been unleashed on the world, and he hears. Oh, that was terrible. It's not.
No, it's good.
He hears
I liked it.
Mm-hmm.
footsteps quickly approaching, and as he starts to turn, he says, "Flynn."
Mm-hmm.
And he gets stabbed! Stabbed right in the fucking side. That's
I liked
right,
this
it's
because
Sodia.
Like most of the cutscenes in this game are honestly not very well directed.
Mm-hmm.
This one very well directed.
Mm-hmm.
I liked
This
the
is anime.
Yeah,
This
I
is-
liked the violence part of it. I liked the reveal of who it was. I liked the scene of him falling. Like it was just very
Mhm.
well shot. It was good.
And
Yeah,
I
you see
liked
the blood
her
on the
face
knife.
too, because she looks like instantly horrified with what she's
Mhm.
done. She's like, "Oh God, what did I do?"
We've kind of, I feel like, glossed over the fact that every time Sodia is around, she's trying to arrest or attack Yuri.
Mhm.
Yeah, she's like, "You
And
suck.
Flynn is...
I don't like how Flynn behaves around you. He acts weird. It's
Yeah.
weird, and you suck."
And Flynn's constantly telling her to stand down, and she's always huffy about it.
Yeah, I thought this was really interesting, by the way, because she always shows up and she's always pissed. She's always like kind of standing up for Flynn, and then she probably sees Flynn take the blast from Alexei.
Mm-hmm.
Because Flynn like pushes
Yuri out of the way.
out of the way to like take this blast from Alexei, and that was probably the last straw for her. It's very well written, I think.
She's like, "I've had enough of this guy. I've had enough of his shit. He's out of here."
Yeah, I thought
it
it was
makes it does. I agree with you on one hand, but on the other hand, like Yuri and his friends are clearly like constantly fighting like giant evils and saving the world and saving cities from giant monsters, and she's seen a lot of that, and none of it seems to matter to her in a way that doesn't really make
Well,
any
the
fucking
only
sense.
one that seems to like understand exactly what's going on is Flynn, and because like Flynn hasn't seemingly clued her into anything, she just kind of feels like Flynn is a little bit of a victim of what's going on.
I think she's jealous. I think she's in love with Flynn. She knows that
Yeah.
Flynn and Yuri have this special bond, and she is jelly.
You know, in the after you do the Zephius Castle, there's a scene where Flynn is talking to Yuri, and right before she bursts into the room after they have their conversation, they share like a look where it cuts to Flynn and it cuts to Yuri and it cuts back to Flynn and it cuts back to Yuri, and they're just like looking at each other.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, this is like a knowing. This is a pregnant pause. What's happening right now? Like, and then she bursts in. There's a lot of sexual tension happening there.
There is.
For
You can't
sure,
deny
yeah.
it.
Mm-hmm.
Totally.
You'd be a fool to.
Mm-hmm.
I like that wrinkle.
Mhm.
It's good stuff. Well, I think that's
The game tells you to save, and I'm like, yes, I will.
yeah. The game
Yeah.
tells you to save, and that's it for this
Yeah.
chunker.
Well, Yuri, after he is stabbed, he falls into the sea.
Oh,
Yeah, you get like Yuri POV, where he's like falling off the platform into the ocean,
Mm-hmm.
which I thought was cool. And then you're asked if you want to save. Good stuff.
And we do. And everyone's like,
And we
goodbye,
do.
Yuri. Goodbye.
Yeah.
We'll miss you.
And that's the end of the chunker, and I'm excited to see what happens next.
Where are we playing to next time, Jim?
All right, next time on Square Roots, we are going to finish Tales of Vesperia. That's exciting.
okay. That
Need to
sounds good.
crunch on all those gummies and then crank that difficulty down to easy, bro.
Maybe.
That
I'll
goes
think about
against
it.
the Johnny Creed.
We'll see. We'll see
I
how
did
long.
the After Zaude stuff last night, and it's pretty great. Pretty great. Some weird shit's about to start happening. Some really weird shit starts happening at the end of this game. I'm kind of super into it. So, get ready for that.
Matt's
All
into
right.
weird shit. You heard it here first.
Did you guys know that this game is a prequel to Secret of Mana? Because I did.
You
Oh.
said that, and I
Mm-hmm.
didn't like it.
Don't understand it, but you will.
There's a tree, and you have sex with it.
Yep, you're gonna fuck a tree.
Oh, just like that, huh?
Yeah.
All right, guys, that's it for this episode. See ya. Bye.
There's still
Wow.
bits. We have bits. Vanessa,
Yes, Johnny?
what are you squarely against?
I discussed it a little bit before. It was not well received, but I'm bringing it back. I am squarely against not seeing the water rise and seeing our characters be able to swim around it as the water is rising. I've played lots of games where that happens. You might say, oh, Vanessa, there was games that were made 5 years ago and this game was made 25 years ago. I don't care. That's what I'm squarely against.
This game is
Wow.
like 11 years old.
You're right, Vanessa. This game is 11 years old. You don't even know how old the game is that we're playing.
You know what? I was playing this game on my 360 when I was dating my now ex-wife.
Memories.
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 All right,
You
Vanessa.
just spoke.
How dare you?
Going to-
Jim, what are you squarely against?
I will say I'm roundly for the last 2 boss fights of this chunker. This was the first time I've seen anyone use a mystic art, and all of the like pomp and circumstance around it, the way that it affects your characters, the little anime like gifts that you get, I think are super rad, and it makes you want to try to do it before we finish the next chunker. So I thought that was really neat. So that's what I'm roundly for.
Jim, they have these or some version of these in every single one of these games, and the fact that I managed to forget about it until I saw Jaeger do it made me feel really stupid.
That's pretty cool. It makes me want to play. I mean, not for a while, but it makes me want to play another Tales game eventually.
Yeah, I think that Tales of Abyss, which is before this one, back when it was still just a 2D plane that the combat was fought on, but that one's really beloved for having like a pretty decent story at least. And the newest one, Tales of Arise, is supposed to be fantastic.
And Matthew, what are you squarely against?
You know, I'm squarely against the sad end of Jaeger. I'm gonna miss his stupid accent. I'm gonna miss his nonsensical reasons for being involved. I'm gonna miss his costume changes. Jaeger.
What are the odds that Gauche and Dwight come back, the 2 lady friends of Jaeger? Like, are they just gone? Are they out of the
They're
story?
just gone.
not
Yeah.
Oh,
Sure.
did you guys not
We'll
see
see
the
him
little
in
cutscene
a-
with them?
Well, you see them.
Like, after you killed
Yeah.
Jaeger, they're
Yes,
like,
we talked
oh
about
no, they saw that whole thing.
Yeah,
and they're like crying.
Do you think they ever
Yeah.
come back, or is
I
that
think
it?
that they'll show up in like the end credits when it like shows us shots of everybody being happy and alive.
I feel like I read somewhere that there's like an optional thing where they can show up later, but if
And you can
miss
make them
it,
take their
then
clothes
they
off.
can't.
Your uncle that works at Nintendo told you about it.
Yeah, there's a nude code for them. Like, I'll bring it to the Square's house on Monday.
Okay.
It's called Hot Strudel.
Finally.
Anyway,
Oh,
is anybody left for
Yeah.
squarely against?
I am.
You are.
I
Yeah.
am squarely against the 40 or so skits in that last dungeon. You gotta pace them out a bit. That's too many. That was way too many. What are they
That happened
thinking?
a few times in this game, I think.
This was definitely the
just bump-
most.
Bards. Yeah, I'm not arguing with you with that, but I'm just saying there are points where it just bombards you with skits.
And
I didn't click a single one this chunker.
we
I mean, they're fun.
Not a
They're
single
fun
one.
early on, but I feel like they work to recap and exposit, which is good.
Yeah.
I'm sure, but they all it's to help is helpful. I'm sure, but they also work to build these characters up in a way that I'm good. Like I figured
Well,
I figured them out.
Fact that you
20
need
hours ago.
The fact that you need these skits to further characterize people means the writing in the cutscenes should be a lot better. You shouldn't need these
I mean, this is
side
always-
things to characterize people because it should just be inherent in what the game presents you, not these optional side things you can
I don't
do.
agree with that.
You
I don't know why that
do-
should be inherent. It's a video game. This isn't a narrative. This isn't a book.
You do get
These are footnotes, and
It's
books have footnotes. But this can't have skits.
Books have
I think that-
footnotes.
Mhm.
I think
yeah.
that these skits, all of the Tales games have these skits. It's part of what does make it's. So I think I wrote this somewhere. These games, it's the whole series. These games. Did I write this down? I guess not. Weird.
You wrote this down
these
where?
games-
Like in your little journal?
Yeah. No, I thought it was in the notes. Like all Tales games, this is a good game, but like all Tales games, it's got a good story, or it's got a generic story, but it's got good characters. But part of the way that they make that happen is with all these skits and shit. They take time to build up characters in ways that a lot of games don't bother. And I think that's a positive for the game, not a negative on the game. It's well, it shouldn't need the skits because this cutscene should be so. I hear what you're saying, Jim, but
Is
this
that
isn't
your
a movie.
impression of Jim?
Yeah, that's my impression of Jim. Jim, it's not a movie. I think that being able to work in these skits I think it's great. And for a while in the game, it keeps me invested and going, and I'm watching. But halfway through the game or so, I stop. I've had enough.
After
I
a
get
while,
it.
it
Carol
just kinda
cries.
becomes unnecessary. Yeah.
Judith makes sexually suggestive comments. Rita gets mad. Estelle questions her self-worth.
Mhm.
Yuri is aloof.
Mm-hmm.
It's gay for Yuri.
There is
That's all of
a
it.
lovely skit where Patty does say she scratches herself and picks her teeth with the Maris Stellar or whatever it's called.
Yeah.
That one made me laugh. Anyway, so now let's talk about how you can support the podcast. And we have a Patreon. I don't know. You ever heard of this? You guys hear about this? This Patreon?
hey, you heard about Patreon? Yeah, apparently they let you support your favorite creators by sending them a little money every month, and then sometimes you get a bonus thing, like a bonus sketch or a bonus thing. And I'm thinking, why don't we do that here at the late night show? Yeah, you send me some extra money, and I'll send you a picture of one of my cars. Yeah, how about that?
Now I feel like the next Patreon should be us watching that late night movie about Jay Leno versus
Conan?
No, not Conan. David Letterman,
Oh.
where they had the really bad makeup on.
Oh. I haven't seen that.
It was a made-for-TV movie. We should watch it.
Well, we can definitely talk about our Patreon though. It got for $3 a month. You can listen to every single bonus episode we've
Yeah,
ever
every
done.
bonus episode. You hear
And
about
there's tons of those. And you can also, for $5 a month, vote on upcoming games. And don't forget, next year is the year 2022. It's up to you, where you get to vote on every single game except for Bio January, because Vanessa does not believe in democracy.
I don't believe in democracy, and I'm really looking forward to 2023. It's up to me, where I get to pick every game.
Oh, no.
We agreed on that, right?
Anyway, so another thing we do to say thank you to our support.
2023, the end of Square Roots.
Hey everyone, that's it for this episode of Square Roots. If you'd like, you can send us an email to squarerootspodcast@gmail.com. If it's worthy of the air, we will read it on air.
Wow.
I got an email to read.
Oh, you have an email. Vanessa's got an email.
Yeah, I got an email. This is an
All
email
right.
from Chad. It's called Baul is a Whale. Dear Square Roots crew, I write today bringing forth unimpeachable evidence and simple logic in order to set the record straight. If Sin from Final Fantasy X is a whale, Baul is absolutely 100% a whale. Baul looks way more like a whale than Sin ever did. Either he's a whale or Sin isn't. I leave arbitration in the capable hands of you, the jury, to decide. I rest my case. Chad, a.k.a. Sexy Grandma's Boy Toy is. P.S. Don't feel bad, Matt, that you screwed up your skills. I did the exact same thing for the first 20 hours of my first playthrough of the game. On the upside,
What?
I just mashed through the next chunker of the game once I realized my mistake because I was over-leveled and didn't have to struggle in combat as much. Hopefully, your experience will be similar. P.P.S. That offer to donate my copies of the Shadow Hearts games is still on the table if you're interested.
I mean, I am.
Me too.
I would love to play Shadow Hearts.
Yeah.
LUV. I do think Baul is a whale. He's just a floaty Entelexeia whale.
What?
I don't think that he's not a whale.
Yeah.
I plead the fifth.
I think he's not a whale. He's like Fluffy Buddy. He's a fluffy.
He's
friend.
an Entelexeia, but in
Well,
like
you can
a
tell
whale
he's not a
form.
whale. You can tell he's not a whale because he does not have a city on his head.
Yeah, that's true. That's a great point, Matt.
Thank you.
Is that the criteria for deciding what a whale is or
Of
not?
course.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, if you'd like an email read on the air, similar to the one that Vanessa just read, you can email us at squarespodcast@gmail.com.
If you write a similar email. I guess
Yeah.
in a similar
If you-
way as to
If you
just
send
described.
us,
if you send us that's
an
a word
email-
for word reproduction of that email.
that's similar in spirit to that. You can send us an email to squarerootspodcast@gmail.com. We have a Facebook group. It's a Square Roots Podcast group for smart, cool, very attractive people. Or you can find us on Twitter. We are at Square Roots Pod.
All right. I have put in the Patreons.
All right. As part of our Patreon, we like to thank every week a smattering of our Patreon users. I will begin this week by thanking Mike, Grayson, Andy M, Armin Hammer, Citrus C, Teen Wolfhard. Love Teen Wolfhard made it into the Patreon. Brian Pitt, Christian Go, Aaron Zelda 2 is underrated little, Metal Gear Solid 1 in 2021, John Scala is a Diva Cup just a shot glass for vampires.
That's
Vanessa is Renegade Cheese Plate. Justin Ham, can't wait to get my turkey stuffed. Ooh. Robert M. Pollum, Kita Renee Prince Cifuentes wants to make the world smooth. Matt.
Oh, he just did a rail. Matt just did a rail. I'm very surprised.
That's a fucking weekend at Bernie's, this thing. I would like to thank Sammy Mitchell, Johnny Five Alive, Eric Pidcammy, Oh Memory Inscribed in Ages Past, David Green, Ian Frederick, Aiden Marriott, Cyril the Wolf, Dylan Rowe, congratulations, Josh and Julio, Matthew Casterline, Huizats HD Shack Shack, Eric Poirier, Zachary Smith, Kristen Ingram, Robert T., and Tyler Crump.
Vanessa.
It's me. Oh my god, what is this game? Race Jenkins, Christopher Thompson, Fresh Eyes, Arthur A., Jack Mizell, Mary Queen of Scoffs, Adam Zimmerman, Vanessa Fan. That's me. Jason Tim, Stu Skeel, Ethan G. Pearson, War Childress, Trent Hexam, Queer Icon, Ryan Miller, Sexy Grandma's Boy Toy is Rolled Earth.
I'd like to thank Miguel Torres, Zachary Train, Keysby Knight, Grey Code, Vanessa's Banderlog.
What is a Banderlog and why do I have
I
one?
don't know. More like Tales of Endless Cutscenes. Help! I'm trapped in this Avatar thumbnail. Dova Keen's Discount Dragon Barn. Nofford, Ari, Corpivara, Alex, Dulard, Soy, Soda Pop, Butts on Parade, Mikey Mucho, Sergeant Spaghetti, love you guys and gals, Justin Rash, I'm only doing this to vote for Nino Cooney. It's a bit late for that. And Chad Wilson. Please rate, review, and subscribe on iTunes, Ghana, or wherever you listen to podcasts. Thanks to Stephen Morris for our Square Roots theme. You can find Stephen on Twitter as Beige on YouTube's. Links in the show notes. Nessa?
If you're listening on Spotify and you're like, what the heck? Is this it? No, it's not. You can find our back catalog in various places, like on our RSS feed at squareroots.libsyn.com or other places.
All right, everyone, for Square Roots, I am Jim Banks.
I'm Johnny Brandon.
I'm Matthew Van Zant.
And I'm Vanessa.
Bye.
All right. Well, it was just 2 hours.
Hey, good job.
No acronym?
Oh,
Acrostic.
I forgot.
Or
Yeah.
acrostic.
Yeah.
Do it now so I can add it to the end of
Okay.
the show.
Matt has asked me to do a Brave Vesperia acrostic.
boy.
I asked you to do an acronym, but whatever.
Do you want me to do an acronym?
BV.
I want you
Or
to
an
do whatever your
acrostic.
heart desires.
I'll do-
BV is very easy.
An acrostic. But soft. Raven, always. Vanessa. Expresses. Vanessa. Experiences. So, personally, everyone, Raven, is awesome.
All right.